there, welcome to the Upcycled Design Lab. My name's Cindy and I craft using recycled and repurposed materials. If you're new here, I hope you'll stick around and check out some of my other upcycling tutorials. And if you like what you see, you can check the subscribe button below any of my videos to become a subscriber. Also, if you'd like to be notified when I upload new videos, be sure to check the bell icon as well. So if you've seen some of my recent videos, you might know that I've just recently finished remaking my craft room. And if you missed that craft room makeover tour, you can click on the corner of this video right now. But I seem to have come up with at least one more project for my room. I'm going to be making a no-sew Ace of Hearts cushion for one of my chairs. And in case you aren't aware of the theme of my craft room, it's Alice-in-Wonderland. I don't think you can see this whole piece in front of me here, but it's just a big piece of mattress foam. A couple of years ago we replaced our mattress and I saved the old mattress. I just cut it into 4 big pieces, which is what's in front of me here, one of the big pieces. So my plan is to make a cushion for my chair. I use this chair at 3 different desks down in this room, and even though I have a lot of my own padding, it's still pretty uncomfortable. So my plan is to use the top layer of the memory foam from the mattress. There's 3 layers here. The top piece is the memory foam, then there's a thin piece of foam and another thicker piece of foam at the bottom here. So the first thing I need to do is just separate the pieces of foam. They're just glued together with some kind of adhesive, but I'm going to use my serrated bread knife to kind of cut through the glue so that I don't tear the foam. So the foam's loose on this corner, and I'm just going to stick the knife in there and sort of gently work my way around the edges. And kind of pull off this top layer. So I've got this top piece loose all the way now. I'm going to leave the bottom piece here just because it's a nice height for me to work on. To make my seat cushion pattern, I'm just going to use a piece of newspaper, a little bit of painter's tape, a marker, and some scissors to cut out the paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is just tape the paper onto the seat in a couple of places to hold it sort of secure. Alright, so now I just want to crease around the edges and use my Sharpie to trace out the pattern. So here's where it gets a little interesting. I'm not entirely sure how smoothly this is going to go, but I'm going to go ahead and pin my little pattern. Just going to use some straight pins. I have a clean edge here, and the tricky part of this is that I want to make sure I'm cutting perpendicular the whole time. But the first thing I need to do is trace out my pattern. So I'm just going to pin this with some straight pins and then trace around it with my Sharpie. Alright, so I've got my template traced out, and now I'm just going to go ahead and cut. I'm not entirely sure. I might try to use the scissors. It's a little bit thick for that. I'm probably going to start with my bread knife and just try to make sure I'm cutting perpendicularly. And I don't want to cut this other piece of foam. So I'm just going to carefully kind of use a sawing motion. I think this is going to work better than the scissors probably. And I'm going to try to make sure I'm keeping my bread knife at a perpendicular angle. All right, so it's a little bit hilarious how thick my cushion is, but I think it's going to be nice and comfy. So the next step is to cut out the fabric to cover the cushion, and I'm just going to use my same template and cut leaving about 2 inches, 1.5 inches around the edges. So I'm going to do 2 pieces of this out of some scrap fabric that I have. So when I initially envisioned this project, I wasn't sure how I was going to make the cover for the foam. I thought about sewing it. Then I thought about just gluing it, and my original plan was to use some Fabri-Tac glue to glue the pieces together. But I only have about this much left. And because of our current social distancing and no stores open, I'm just trying to use what I have. And what I have a lot of is Mod Podge. Did you know you could buy it by the gallon? Amazing. Anyway, so I've decided I'm going to Mod Podge the pieces onto the foam. Before you get too freaked out about how I'm not going to be able to wash it or anything, I should probably tell you that I'm also planning to paint it with house paint. So I have some Mod Podge here, a nice big brush, some water. I may use this in spots just because it's a good sturdy glue, but I don't have very much of it. So I'm just going to start on the top, and I'm going to glue the piece to the foam in its entirety. This might not be the best use for your Mod Podge, but we're doing what we can in these crazy times. So I just want to smooth this out without really pressing it and stretching it in any weird way. You want to press it gently to make sure it's making contact with the glue, but you don't want to stretch or squish the foam because it will wrinkle up your fabric. All right, I'm going to let that dry for a little bit, and then I'm going to come back and do the edges. So I've glued the top and the bottom piece on, and I've finished the edge on the bottom here. I'm just holding it with some pins in a couple of spots until it dries, but I'm going to go back and finish the top edge now. So on the corners, I'm having to tuck a little bit in, but it should be fairly smooth. So here's what the corner looks like, and I'm just going to keep working my way around and glue down the edges. And then when I'm finished with that, I was going to cut a piece of fabric to put around the edge, but I'm feeling kind of lazy. So I have this organza ribbon that I'm going to put around the center and just glue it down with some Mod Podge as well. So I've let my cushion dry overnight. The Mod Podge seems to be nice and dry now. You can see the ribbon piece I put along the center here just to close off the seams where they didn't quite meet. And once this is covered with paint, I don't think you'll be able to see it that much. I may do a little contrasting color on the ribbon. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I'm ready to go ahead and paint my cushion. So I'm using my pink accent color that I used on my desk for this room and a couple other projects. If you're interested in the desk makeover project, you can click on the link right now in the corner. But this is just going to match one of the pink colors in my desk. I'll probably have to do it in 2 phases so I can let the top dry and then I'll paint the other side. I'm hoping I only need 1 coat, but if I need to touch up the color, I will. So now that my paint's dry, I'm ready to apply my finished art, and as I mentioned before, this is for my Alice-in-Wonderland craft room makeover. So I thought the Ace of Hearts would be a fun thing to add to this chair. So I just have a paper template pinned on here, and I'm just going to carefully trace around it with my white gel pen. I've got my artwork sketched on here now, and the next step is to use another one of my pink accent colors from the room, and I'm just going to hand paint the hearts and the A's onto the seat here. I'm kind of making this up as I go along, so once the paint was dried, I went around the art with my white gel pen just to kind of make the edges a little bit crisper. And then I wanted to finish off around where the ribbon was, so I put some of this cording that I have that's a pretty good match to my pink color. And I was just planning to put it on both sides of the ribbon here, but you can see it's still kind of ripply and unattractive here, and this is the very front of the cushion. So I went through my my craft stash, and I found this fringe that I've been saving for years and never had a use for. So my plan now is to put some fringe on around the edge, and I may use some more cording as well. So I'll just use my Fabri-Tac glue, or if I run out of that, I have some E6000 glue that should work as well. So I'm just going to glue some more trim around the seat cushion here to finish it off. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll check out some of my other upcycling tutorials, and if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you soon.